Now live. Oh yeah. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Between Two Stoves. I'm Dave Nelson and I do those industry cooking classes, those quarantine kitchen happy hours that you guys have been seeing out there on the Facebook machine, okay? I have a ton of videos up there now. If anybody wants to go over and check them out, it's all straight culinary technique. I don't lay it out exactly in the order that I do in culinary school, but I'm basically hitting all of the points that I normally cover in the culinary programs that I teach in when I have a job. But right now, I'm just kind of quarantined at home. And so this is what I do to keep me sane. I need to talk about cooking because I am a true believer. I believe that if people only knew more about cooking, they would eat better. They would make better eating decisions. They would eat at a better class of restaurant. So that's why I do what I do, whether it's online here, whether it's at my job where I teach at a community college, at my other job where I teach at a correctional facility. I teach wherever I can, and this is all part of it. But it's not all about me. I have to feel during quarantine, I do these little videos, but I'm really not doing much else. And I feel that there are so many out there that are doing much more than me, or doing exciting, clever things that are ways to kind of pivot and take new directions during this new reality that we're all living with. Okay, and so what that's all about, I got to bring other people into it. It can't all just be coming from me. So I got a couple of people coming at you today. We're going to be talking to Alvaro Rodriquez here in a second. He's coming out first. He's a local printer and artist and man about town. Okay, and we're going to talk to him about what he's doing during COVID. And we are also going to be talking to Santana Diaz. Yes, the famous, the magnificent Santana Diaz from UC Davis Health. You might have heard of this local chef that is doing the best hospital food, not just in town, but some of the best hospital food in the nation. We are getting a lot of scrutiny in this town just because of this gentleman and his crew over there at UC Davis Health, where they are changing the paradigm, switching up the paradigm on how hospital food is perceived. I worked in a hospital myself back in the day, and I really did do everything I could to try and make things better. And I actually, it was a little bit of a fight to kind of break through some of the barriers of people that have been entrenched for years and years. But this guy's actually doing it. It's a new day, and we're seeing locally sourced food in that hospital, and we are beginning to see, well, he'll tell you all about it, but we are beginning to see restaurant plates in that hospital over there. It's an amazing story, and I'm really excited to bring him on. But as I said, first, we're going to be talking to my friend Alvaro Rodriquez, and he is someone that I just see in the neighborhood, and we see around the local food community. If you are a Sacramento food person, you know that it's a small town when it comes to our restaurant and hospitality industry in this town. Everybody knows everyone, and we see Alvaro at food events around town and posting on social media, and he and around restaurants in town, patronizing restaurants. And so I know the guy, and I found out what he was doing during the COVID, and I wanted to bring him in to talk about it. So let's bring him on in, give this a try. I'm mastering the tech, and there he is. It worked. Alvaro, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good
afternoon, yes, this is great. I am doing awesome. So glad that you could come. I kind of, I saw what you were doing, and I just thought it sounded cool. And it's like, this is what we need, those creative ideas in this new age, right? It's everybody has to figure out a new way of doing things. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about that stuff. But first, I know that you're kind of known as a bon vivant, okay? And I wanted to ask you, as someone who wants to be a bon vivant, a liver of life, how would one get into that sort of thing?
Chill.
Just chill. I
Chill.
I can do that. I can definitely do that. But that's it, huh? You're just a chill dude, and
so
I love the term.
In the Middle Ages, there was a movement called the Goliardo. It was an Italian
Goliardo.
movement, Goliardo. And in Italian, the word for knowledge and the word for flavor are only one letter apart. There's only
Ooh, I
one
like
letter
that.
difference. Sapore and
We need that
sapere.
on a T-shirt. That could be a
Okay.
T-shirt. I love that.
And
Knowledge and flavor.
Through flavor, they found knowledge, or through knowledge, they found flavor. This is one of those two-way streets, and they were outlawed by the Pope, and eventually they were burnt at the stake.
Of course.
But,
Of course.
These were at the late Middle Ages. Was a movement throughout northern Italy and Europe that gathered some force, and it was mostly made by college students and university students of the day.
As always, I've always been that sort of a person too, just a lover of life, a liver of life, to the fullest. And I think food is such a huge part of that. It reminds me of those, there have been many Epicurean societies throughout the year, and you look at the history of the Epicureans. Go way back, guys. Go out there and Google the Epicureans, and it goes way back. Some of their philosophies back then are quite fascinating. The micro world, they didn't have evidence of it, but they were postulating a micro world millennia before anybody had the conception of it. But they were all partiers and drinkers and just sat around and talked about life. The Epicureans. Yeah. Awesome stuff. So let's see. You're an artist, and you've created kind of a print design business. Is that it? I mean, what are some of the jobs that we might see around town of stuff that you've done?
So a little background: I've been working in the print industry pretty much my whole adult life, and I was based in Sacramento because I was hired by a company in town. And I worked for them for 12 years, basically traveling all over the place, selling software for printing.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. That's where the money is, I'm sure.
Right. And
software,
I became a consultant, and I was making money doing that. And it was fun, but it meant that I was traveling 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2012, I had a daughter, and I said, I can't do this.
All bets are off now, right?
Right. So I started my own company. And
awesome.
So there's a lot of knowledge behind printing. Yes, and I could go get a state job doing whatever, or a corporate job doing whatever, but I didn't want to travel. And
right.
I said, well, why not start my own company, doing what I know how to do, which is print. I mean, I hadn't been up to now on the production side. I've been always on the vendor side.
Oh, gotcha.
And
so what are some of the jobs around town that you've done?
Well, if you go into a lot of restaurants, all the menu boards, a La Fiesta, for example, down in Alhambra and M.
Of course,
those we did. Cantina Alley.
Oh, right, yeah. Very cool.
I did all those prints.
That's one of those other clever little businesses. I love that. Cantina Alley, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. The Pig on the Corner, Mulvaney.
Oh, yeah? The Pig on the Corner, huh?
The Pig on the Corner is mine.
Awesome. That's famous. This is why everybody knows you right here. Awesome.
Devil May Care. And I could concentrate and think about more, but it's at the mill.
So it's just it's an example of what a small food town it is, though, huh? I mean, everybody out there has heard of all these places. Devil May Care, you better believe it. I hope they're doing well during COVID. I'm sorry.
Origami.
Oh, origami, beautiful. Yeah. So love those guys, man. I love what they do. If you guys haven't checked out Origami, hey, throwing it out there, guys. Do yourself a favor. Go get a ramen to go or their fried chicken. Am I right?
Or pork belly banh mi.
Pork belly banh mi. I haven't done that one yet.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff.
But
those guys are badasses. I just said it.
They're doing.
Yeah, they sure do.
They know what they're doing. And for them, we did something very cool, which was the table numbers. At Origami,
yeah.
they're rounded with their logo inside, and
That
that
was
was a
you?
fun project. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the little table numbers.
Yeah,
Awesome. Hey, we should talk about you, man. So tell us about what it is that you're doing, and then I'll kind of bring it up and show everybody.
So, we see that everybody, when this first started happening, and we got orders to social distance and started going around town and seeing that people were using pretty much tape that they got out in the hardware store to put on the ground and keep things separate.
No one knows what to do. No one knows what to do, right?
Right. So by reading the directives that are coming out from the Capitol, by the governor, and keeping in touch with that, we've made a series of directional floor and wall graphics to keep people safe when businesses reopen. And you can go out and source this through Amazon or other online stores, but we kind of like put it all together in a kit that will make it easy, and you can just go at it. And so, for example, we have this floor graphic, and it's made with a non-slip material.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, safety first. Safety first.
This is, a lot of restaurants have this, but they printed it on their inkjet printer, and when they wash the window, they get Windex on it, it makes a mess.
So this is going to stand up for a while. This will stand up for a while.
Plastic. Yeah.
And if I may interject here. I mean, you mentioned you could get this stuff on Amazon, but I mean, we're all talking about supporting local restaurants, at least in our food community and everything. And it's not just the restaurants. You're a guy who supports the restaurants. You're a restaurant vendor. And so, hey, those are the people that we need to support too, right? Rather than purchase from Amazon. I mean, we should be going to our local guys that are doing these little jobs, not just this. There's a million little jobs out there, and we need to be supporting our local communities in this way. I'm going to let you keep on talking. I'm going to bring up that. I'm going to take myself out and show you guys the little presentation. Keep on going. Keep talking.
Yeah. So the other thing is that we've done the homework, and we've gone out to find out what is needed, so people don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we got some bathroom acrylic signs here with instructions on how to clean your hands. We have some CDC little posters that you can stick. They're self-adhesive material that you can put on your walls or with the mirrors. And this is off of the CDC website.
I like that one. Keep calm and wash hands. I like that one. Good stuff.
This is face mask required to enter. So, and there's arrows and there's tape. So those areas that you don't want people to step in, you can put that in there.
Here's a question. Here's a question. What if somebody has other needs that this pack doesn't cover quite everything they need? I mean, are you able to kind of work with them on that?
Of course. And if they want to, not only that, if they want to, this comes in a kit, right? And if they have several locations, we can brand this with their company information. We can make their graphics their own. So,
very cool. So you can go completely custom then. Anything they want.
Totally. Anything you want, we can do it. This is just a package that we put together that has all that.
Nice. Hey, if I can point out, I just put your information, your website, I guess it is, your tpsolutionprovider.com. Okay, if you guys are interested in supporting the local guy. Again, you see this stuff in your janitorial catalogs if you run a restaurant, right? You know the ones I'm talking about. But like I said, this is our local guy, that we all know and love over the years. Hey, let me see. There was one other thing. Oh, the sand chefs. I wanted you to tell me about sand chefs. Let me bring you back up here on a big picture here. Let's talk about that.
That was a fun thing we did for a long time. So for 14 years, we got together at 14 14 years at Pismo Beach.
Yeah.
Every year.
That's wild.
At the first weekend in November. And we would camp there, and it was Land Cruiser Kingdom. Around 400 to 500 Land Cruisers would show up.
See, I love this because I used to have one of those Toyota Land Cruisers, and I just loved that vehicle. I will say it had no like get up and go, but that thing would climb a wall. It was like the greatest car, and I so miss that thing. I wish I had it to this day.
They're still out there.
Oh, I know they are. I know they are. Yeah, so, I love those.
We've been, friends of mine have called me and my friends four-wheeling gourmets with a four-wheeling addiction.
Nice.
So we go out there and we make paella in the middle of nowhere, And
it was a competition, right? The Sand Chef.
The Sand Chef was a competition where people had 90 minutes to cook 3 dishes, 2 savories and 1 dessert.
And you were the MC, the master of ceremonies for the whole thing.
Yes. And it started out with rice, and then we did peppers, and then we did chocolate, and then we did corn and eggs and pork and you name it. We went down the list.
It's beach food, right?
But people got more and more intricate and more sophisticated with their techniques, and they were making.
So are they rolling in with? Are they rolling in with big old rigs behind them and everything for tailgating?
Well,
and
it wasn't really that, but in the back of the Land Cruiser, they would bring a little oven and their grill and their table and the generator, and next thing you know, it was complete darkness, and it lights up on this stage, and it was a lot of fun.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, 15 years, that's a lot of staying power, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was fun. And we did it for 10 on the beach, and then we did it for 3 or 4 or 5 on the Rubicon.
So, on the Rubicon. Very nice.
Rubicon, yeah, on Rubicon Springs.
On the trail.
And there we named it Rock Chef.
Rock Chef. Yeah, completely different.
And then people had 1 week to prepare to go up there, because you can't go. It's not like you could go out and buy groceries once you're there.
So you gave them 1 week to prepare, but they had to bring everything, right? You can't leave anything behind. So that is a valid challenge, sir. I think you have to bring fun. Everything. You have to. Yeah, that's like every off-premise catering job in the world. You have to think of every contingency, and I'll tell you, I'll show you what the most important part of it is right here, people. Right here. Your roll of plastic wrap right here. This is what does it. This is what gets you through all catering jobs. And I think they send a roll of this up with the space shuttle on every space shuttle mission.
It is. That's like duct tape for cooking.
It's the duct tape for chefs, yeah. And I shouldn't. It is bad. We use so much plastic. I feel horrible. But gosh, we do everything with that stuff. I move my house. I wrap everything in that stuff, and it's so.
I wanted to plug something. Now that we're talking about food,
you want to plug something? Yeah, plug it up.
This here, Diplomatico.
Well, we were talking about that. Let me get a little sip here while you're doing that.
So this is a rum from Venezuela. It won 2018 Spirit of the Year by Wine Spectator, and it is just absolutely delicious.
Can you say that name again?
Diplomatico.
Diplomatico. It just sounds soigné, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's the smoothest. It's the smoothest rum you ever taste. It drinks like cognac, or it drinks like a Calvados or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, interesting. I used to cook with Calvados all the time back in the 80s. I just got a little message. Mr. Santana's trying to log in right now, so we might see him pop up in the green room over here, so that'll be great. But anyway, gosh, before he does that, I did want to get to... you're always, I'm seeing you posting pictures in like quarantine galleries and stuff like that. What are you working on these days? What's turning your gears?
Well, I've been using my panini maker in the kitchen a lot. So my girlfriend gave me a tiny panini maker that she got online for whatever.
We're not talking George Foreman or anything.
No, this is
the real deal, huh?
Well, the thing broke, and I called the manufacturer and said, I've had this thing for a year and it broke, and they were very nice and they sent me a new one, but the new one was way bigger, and I'm not going to complain. So the other day I'm going, well,
did they give you a double size then?
Yes.
Awesome. That's super. That's
yes.
So cool.
And I've been doing speckled chicken in it. And then I said, well, why not do some salsa? So I cut my tomatillos in half, cut by the equator, put them in there with some habaneros and garlic. And you close it and you put like a cast iron skillet on top to give it a little.
Wait. So it's not just the panini on just the press, but you're putting extra weight on that thing.
Yeah. So you get all the sear marks.
Well, that's what panini's all about. It's got to be pressed, right?
Right. And put them in the blender and make salsa in like 10 minutes. But the chicken was done, the whole chicken was done in probably less than 20 minutes.
I like that idea of putting the salsa ingredients in there and getting a char on them like that. That's really cool. It's
fantastic. And onions and zucchini and you name it, I'm putting it in there. The other thing I've discovered in this quarantine is Finnish crisp bread with Nutella on top.
Oh my gosh, that sounds deadly. And I'm not a huge Nutella fan, but
me neither.
That sounds deadly.
Have you had Finnish bread?
And what's the Finnish Finnish crisp bread like? Oh, there he goes. I've never been a big Nutella fan. We use this stuff in the hotel kitchens called pralinosa, and it was basically Nutella. Yeah, and I was never very appreciative of it.
No, I don't care for Nutella because I think it's too sweet and too rich.
I recognize this bread. Yeah, I recognize this.
It's this stuff.
Yes, yeah. It's a little bit of a rye flavor, isn't it?
It's rye
caraway.
Bread. Rye bread and
like caraway seed is what I mean.
No, just rye, straight up.
Oh, no caraway. Okay.
And a little bit of a hint of salt in there. And with Nutella on top is just decadent.
That sounds interesting.
With butter is phenomenal. With Nutella, it's like 11. You turned it down to 11.
I think I would like Nutella better in kind of a salty, savory application.
Yeah.
Than more sweet.
Wood from pallets.
You don't want cedar that's going to taste like, a cedar
pine.
chest or something. Naughty pine, it's going to taste like a Christmas tree.
Furniture.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oak. Oak makes sense here.
Yes, oak.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much fill it up with, alcohol. And if you take a bottle of grain alcohol and put it in there, in 30 days, you'll get something that's amber looking. And if you leave it 6 months, you'll get something that tastes very much like bourbon. So I've done shrubs in it.
Oh, yeah?
That's vinegar, apple cider vinegar. And it turns out to be the aged apple cider vinegar on this thing is just phenomenal. I've also done mezcal. I do not recommend that.
So you're just doing all. Yeah. Okay. So not mezcal. That didn't work. But you're just doing all of these different flavors. That's really cool.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is habanero ash.
Habanero ash.
Ash.
Oh, hash. Oh,
no,
yeah.
Ash,
okay.
ash,
So
ash.
like a potato hash, you mean?
No. Ash.
Ash. Oh, I hear you now.
Okay, so I went to a restaurant in Mexico, and I had this hot sauce that was Bible Black. And it's one of the better hot sauces that it's an incredible flavor. And when I asked what it was, they told me it was habanero ashes, oregano, olive oil.
You're seeing more and more people playing with ashes and things like that, right? Yeah. Interesting. And that's it. That's simple, huh?
I went on a quest trying to duplicate it.
I imagine, charring it like that is gonna, do something to the heat. I think you're going to lose some of the heat. Kind of tone it down, I would think.
So the first thing I did, I bought a 5-pound bag of habaneros. I put them in a tray, threw them in the grill, and burned them to a crisp. And then put them in my molcajete and pulverized it. It was okay. I mean, my daughter calls it Black Widow powder. It is very tasty.
I like that name.
Yeah.
How old is she now, by the way? Oh,
She's
8. Okay. Black Widow powder. I like that.
And we sprinkle it on burgers, on burger meat, and the results are fantastic. But,
interesting.
But it's not the sauce that I had. So my next test would be to put them over the fire and char them almost to a crisp, but leaving a little bit of the pulp behind, and then grinding that and adding the olive oil and the oregano.
So you get a little bit more body to it and things like that.
Right.
Do you ever work any other ingredients? Like, you got did you mention garlic? Throw garlic in there?
No, I didn't put garlic, but garlic would work very well. And speaking of garlic, I'm a big proponent of using garlic in the microplane. So a microplaning garlic, microplaning habaneros, because it intensifies the flavor, but in the case of but it's not as pungent. It's hard to explain this.
So I got a theory. So you're opening up surface area, so you're tasting more of it, but a good sharp microplane isn't damaging as many cells as you do it. But that's just a theory off the top of my head. I'm not a science guy or anything, but I could see how. Yeah, what's up?
If you pulp it down with in a molcajete, you get a different flavor. I like it's a more delicate flavor if you put it through the microplane. And
when you do the molcajete, do you add oil to it at all?
Salt.
Just salt. Okay.
Salt. Okay. To help me with the grinding.
I was going to say that oil might sometimes it gets aerated a little bit and tastes a little weird.
Right. But just microplaning the one habanero in guacamole is phenomenal. And then if you add a little bit of anchovy paste to do your guacamole.
See, we were talking about anchovy paste before, right? That umami. It's just like umami in a bottle, or in a fillet, I mean.
Yeah.
And we were talking about fermented fish sauces and things like that.
Yeah, I got
all
a
of
bunch
that
of bottles
umami.
here.
Do you? You have different...
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Cordy Brothers has anchovy sauce.
Are they amazing or what? Cordy Brothers. You know, how long has it been? They've been just, you know, they're internationally known. I mean, you see, you know, international magazines writing about that little grocery store in our town of Sacramento, going way back. It's really cool.
I was in Madera, Ohio, which is a little town outside of Cincinnati. It's next to Indian Hills. And I went to a wine store and I picked up a bottle of Decoy. And it was $75.
Which I like. I like some Decoy, right?
Yeah, but it was $75.
I know it.
And I go,
oh, wow, okay. Yeah, wow.
$75? No.
Yeah.
So I could get this at Safeway much cheaper. And I tell the guy that I'm from Sacramento. And he goes, "You're from Sacramento? There's a grocery store there." Yeah. Cordy Brothers.
Isn't that amazing?
Go,
Isn't that amazing? I have one of those stories. I met an Italian waiter on a cruise ship in the Indian Ocean. I was on an African cruise, okay? And this Italian guy who barely spoke any English, he knew about Zelda's Pizza on 21st. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he knew some Sacramento people, I guess, and he knew about Zelda's.
Well, you know, and back home in Venezuela, Biva was a beloved person. Kidding.
Well, she wrote the books and everything. I'm sure she had a little international.
She had the TV show.
She did. That's right.
On Discovery.
You better believe it. That's right.
And my aunt swore by her cooking methods. Oh man. So yeah. So every time
that's very cool. It's
people from out of town
just
taken from Biva.
And it's amazing how, you know, she's just a nice lady on TV cooking dinner, you know, and that is just like it's international, you know. You just can't go wrong with that. Let me try and get Mr. Santana. I'm going to give him a word of encouragement. We're just hanging out and talking here while he's trying to get on. He's still having trouble. I'm just going to tell him we're just talking.
Yeah.
If you're cool with it, if you want to hang out for a bit,
sure.
We'll talk food a little bit.
It's quarantine, right?
What's that?
Look, this is full.
Oh,
and I have half a bottle of this. I think we can go for a while.